Hi everyone, welcome to Module 9, Week 9. The weeks are really ticking over now, and I really hope that you enjoy learning about assessment and brain-based learning. Lots of useful tips here, so I really urge you to dive in and go through this all very thoroughly. Obviously, assessment can be a bit of a monster for a lot of people. It can cause a lot of stress, and it can really take over the whole learning experience if you let it. But what we try to do is help you get it in better perspective, to think about what it is that you can get out of it and how you can approach assessment tasks so that they don't become really stressful and overwhelming. So lots of practical tips here for you, and of course it will depend on the kind of discipline you end up in as to what kinds of assessment you mostly do, whether it's mostly assignment based or exams, or perhaps it will be a bit of both. But either way, there are some very general principles that we can talk about that will help you understand how you learn best. So we look at these things called the principles of brain-based learning. Don't worry, it's not too scientific and highfalutin, it's all really in layman's terms. There's lots of fascinating research these days about the brain, how we process information, how we remember things. And so if you have this background knowledge, then you can apply some very practical tips to help you. For example, if you have a big exam with lots of content to prepare for, there are some things there that you can really do to help you process that information. And then there are also lots of other general tips that might help you with your learning. So, for example, you may be aware of the mind-body connection, the kinds of things that you can do to help your mind be in the right state, so that you are receptive to learning. Perhaps you've already heard of the Mozart effect, that there are certain kinds of music that you can play that supposedly help the learning process. That's just one example of the kinds of things that we talk about in this module. So some of these strategies and approaches won't necessarily resonate with you, but some just might, and they could make a big difference in your study life. Who knows? They could even make a difference in your personal life as well. Let's have a quick look on Moodle, and you will see that the study guide module is there as usual. The videos are there. There's a really interesting reading here called Reclaiming Your Memory. I do urge you to have a look at that. Students in the past have indicated that they have found that really helpful. It's very easy to read, and some good tips there. There are a number of resources here that might assist you in your learning. We look at different ways of taking notes, and again this ties in with what we did earlier in the course. But there are ways of organising information, there are ways of creating patterns in your notes which might help your brain remember things. We look at mind maps, which you may have heard of, which is a very particular type of mapping, of recording your ideas, your notes. And then there are a series of recordings here, videos. There's one audio to listen to from our Radio National program. There's so many interesting things out there to access about the brain. It just seems that we are finding out so much more about it on almost a daily basis, and even in the news you will hear quite often there will be some research about a new understanding that we have of how the brain works. So you may be interested to look at some or all of these clips. It's really up to you how much you dive into this, but again, if you understand how the brain works, then it can help you understand how you process things too. Don't forget about the discussion forum. We'd love to hear your ideas about how you learn best, any fun facts about the brain that you may have heard, and then of course there's the usual checklist so that you know that you are keeping on track. Now, you will also need to be looking at Learning Portfolio B, and hopefully you've already downloaded that and you're completing those modules week by week. There will be some questions which are like an overview of the whole module, which you will answer for Module 9 as well. Good luck with all of that. I don't know about you, but the older I get, the more help I need with remembering things. I hope that you do get some useful tips from this and that it does really help you in a very practical way with your assessment and with your learning in general. Good luck with Module 9.